Hey, brothers and sisters, what's up? This is the Reluctant Nabi back again. And this is this video right here I wanted to bring to your attention, and it's based on a deflection tactic that a Smurf tried to um, use on Facebook. And basically, what she said was in Brazil. All right, and I called her out on it on Facebook because she was fabricating the whole thing. And because she understood what happened, for her to say it was opposite of what actually happened, what it meant that she tried to be a fraud. All right. So basically, um, what we have here is the story on color in Brazil, and this just does not hold true to just Brazil, but these policies are what slave states used throughout the Middle Passage, all the way up through the 1930s, and the mentality that was on these women still exists to this day in Brazil, and dare I say the United States. All right. Now, in this, there are two videos that I'm going to recommend, and they're going to be in the description box on YouTube. Watch them both. All right. Both videos are presented here in this video, and we're going to present to you the true story on color, not only in Brazil, but in most of the countries that had slaves. All right. And what we have here was a policy to exterminate melanin or melanated people on the face of the earth by using the woman as the foil. All right. So let me back you up real quick. First, let me greet everybody. Howard Hardu Dog. Ola oi to the bang. Vossas los bonjour mes amis. Keru bawani konnichiwa. Ni hao ni ama. Sani bonani. Jambo habaragani. Assalamu alaikum and shalom. All right. So basically, what we have here is there was a woman that said in Brazil, the government paid Afro men to not be with the Afro women, but to be with the Portuguese women. And that is so much not true. And for her to understand that there was some payment by the government to rid Brazil of melanin or melanated people, for her to understand that that happened, then that meant she understood the whole truth. She understood that the government paid Europeans to come to Brazil and have children with the negative women. Sorry, I switched over language, but well, I'm gonna just say that intention. It means to understand, okay? And their hope was to eliminate the melanin from Brazil for fear that there would be reprisals from the men as they outnumbered the Portuguese. The other part of their hope was that the European men would create enough non-melanated people that the balance would be, they would outnumber the Afro people. If you look in government right now, there is no racial harmony in Brazil. It's a myth. It's a smokescreen. It's a red herring. All right. I spend a lot of time there, and I can tell you And the all the mulattoes, all the melanated men, even the Brazilian men, they will tell you that the Afro men are treated unjustly by everybody, but especially by the Afro women. All right. And that's because there's an advantage to mistreating the Afro man, the same that you may say exists in the United States. Remember, there's people taking the channels down. There are people flagging down the channels of Afro men in the United States that are trying to prevent them from speaking. There are actually people running around flagging down other websites that Afro men built for Afro men because we can't speak anywhere else. And when you look at who's tearing these channels down, when you look at who's actually oppressing the Afro man, you will find that it's of the female gender, and it's more times than likely people that look just like us. This is what's happening all over Facebook, all over YouTube. Our oppressor are people that look like us. So let's say oppressors. The system oppresses us, but the people that look like us are all too happy to use the system or help the system to oppress people that they can't control. All right, it's kind of a different story here in Brazil. All right, so this is the breakdown on it, and this is the true researched story on color in Brazil. And they take this and put it towards Argentina, which they did this on steroids, and we might go into what happened in Argentina. All right, and take this and look at what's happening with the battles between the Afro man, that's the good man, and the Smurfs, or the BAWs in the United States. All right. So as we go through this, I want you to pay attention to this Chica da Silva. Okay. Chica da Silva is the epitome. She is the epitome of how the melanated woman got ahead over the Afro men. Period. All right. She is very famous in Brazil. You can look this name up on, what is it? Well, she's featured mainly in the video, but Wikipedia. Look her up on Wikipedia. Now, the reason why I say Wikipedia is because you get what people know about her, and you're going to have on Wikipedia what the Brazilians say, and you're going to have counterbalances. All right, but understand this, right? Very, very significant and important. All right, now let me take a break real quick, and let me remind you to get those thumbs up, like, share, subscribe. When you subscribe, click the notification bell. My PayPal, me, and my Cash App will be in the description box, along with the 2 YouTube videos that I would like for y'all to see. All right. And one is called well, you'll see it, but it's called the Latino Afro whatever, and it is the research on color in Brazil. All right. So, and the other is about the Global Laser contest, to which a melanated woman won, but then she caught kickbacks from the Afro community and the Caucasian community because apparently she was too dark. But the Afro community did not support her because she and her choices did not support the Afro community. All right. And so a lot of quotes that you're going to see in this video comes from out of there. So as you do all this and get the thumbs up and stuff, and please share this video on Facebook in the groups and everything. But as you look at this, right, keep this in mind. You still take care of yourself and family first. All right, because nobody's going to take care of us if you're a brother but us. And to you sisters, nobody's going to help you but the brother that you're with. Period. All right. So let's roll on. Okay, so this is a movie based on Chica da Silva. All right, and it was played by a famous actress who you'll see in the other video that researches the true state of color in Brazil. They do all of Latin America, but this video concentrates on Brazil. And what Brazil wanted you to think, what the government wanted you to think, that it's a kumbaya moment, but it was the furthest thing from it. Because when you go there, you see all this mixed hues and stuff. You think things were gravy. But when you talk to the Afro men, no, things are not gravy. Because everybody had access to the melanated woman, but the Afro man. And that's where you get all these hues from. And only recently that Afro men really have access to a wide range. But this has always existed amongst the melanated woman. And what you had was the grandmother teaching the mother and the mother teaching the daughter that melanin was no good. All right. So pay attention to those videos. And so we're going to go over a few clips from these videos. Say right now. Okay. This is based on Chica da Silva. All right. That's her picture right up there. And basically, she was basically a woman of the night, and that's how she became so rich. All right? She was a concubine, and she became rich because she knew how to whip appeal one of the richest men in this town. All right? So, I'm going to put this up a little bit. For those of you that make videos, you understand why I am doing this. And so let's get a gander.
Junior took me to the house of Diamanchina's most famous citizen, a woman named Chica da Silva. Chica da Silva, an 18th century slave, was the partner of a white diamond merchant, and once freed, became one of the wealthiest women in all of Diamantina. Today, she's known all over Brazil.
All right. So you know who she is, right? So let's look into her some more. All right. So let's pay attention to this breakdown. All right.
Tell me about how she went from being a slave to being one of the most powerful women in her society.
She was a companion of someone who was the most important man here. He arrived in August, and in December, he already belonged to him, and he freed her.
On Christmas Day?
On Christmas Day. It was a Christmas gift.
That's amazing. And they stayed together?
And they stayed together for 15 years, and they had 13 children together, one after the other. So the generation will be secured.
So I want y'all to understand that. These women did not create generations of Afro children. She did not create generations of soldiers that could take back what was taken from them. No, they went and created more oppressors from the other side. And they created a deeper hole for the former slaves to get out of. All right, understand this. And this is the policy everywhere. All right. Now, I want you to pay attention to how much deeper this gets. All right?
She dressed like them?
Like dress like them, have several children, buried in a white church.
In other words, she had to erase her African heritage.
Yes.
What about her children?
She didn't have to erase her African heritage. She chose to erase her African heritage because money, all right? Money, status. They wanted status. They wanted money. So, to get the status, if they erase the whole culture, if they erase the thought of Afro people ever being there, that was okay with women like this. All right? Because she became the richest woman in the place after the man died. Think about that. Now he said, what about the children? What about the children? Listen.
Did they embrace their blackness, or did they pass for white?
No, they really embrace the white because it's the way of social climbing in this society.
It's a way of social climbing in this society.
The thing was become white people.
So the thing was, with these melanated women, with these mulheres de negras, all right, was to become Caucasian. Now understand, this woman did not stutter when she said that. All right, the roots of this is deep and deep-seated. All right, and until we be honest, can't nothing be fixed ever. Because the Afro males everywhere are seeing that they're not only oppressed by the system, but the system is getting help from others that look like them. Period. And this is what you have here. My family, there will be no more black people. Why is this? All right. This woman explains in the clip on Globaliza. All right. And you won't be surprised at what the explanation will be. Because they, the women, not the men, the women are marrying white people. That's what she is saying. My family, in a few years, there will be no more black people because the women are marrying white people. All right, that's kind of deep. Where did that come from? And remember, this is just the women doing that. They're the ones that had the options to do this, more so than the Afro man. The Afro man started seeking other options as a byproduct of the mentality of the women. But where did this mentality come from? All right, and this is where I get into that the woman on Facebook understood where the mentality came from and understood the policy that the Brazilian government had, understood that the Brazilian government, like the United States, Argentina, did a PSYOP program on the melanated woman and told her if she wanted to improve her race, she must get rid of her melanin. And what's the best way to do that? Not create children with a melanated man. How you know I'm not lying? Again, more research. And this is the truth of it. I don't know why in the United States we cannot be as honest as people are being right now in Brazil. All right. We are the most hypocritical country on the face of this planet, it seems like to me. Because I could go to Brazil and have a straight and direct conversation about this. And even though in the mind of the melanated woman, she's She understands what's going on, but she's going to do whatever she's going to do because it's status to be lighter than you are. All right, where the opposite is true of the non-melanated woman. The non-melanated woman is trying to get it back. When you talk about the morena, the mulattoes, but in trying to get it back, they are looking still for the men that can provide. All right, so here's the true breakdown.
Various intellectuals believed for Brazil to become a civilized country, it had to have a process of whitening. Various intellectuals believed for Brazil to become a civilized country, it had to have a process of whitening. For this reason, the government invested a great deal in European immigration to the country.
The Brazilian government paid for more than 4...
Hold on. 4 million. The Brazilian government paid for 4 million Caucasian men to migrate to Brazil.
4 million Europeans to migrate to Brazil. This was part of a process known as branqueamento, whitening. The government hoped that these new immigrants would outnumber the black people and breed with them, over time whitening the face of Brazil, both its gene pool and its culture.
From then on, the government began to persecute practices that were seen as black, like candomblé and capoeira, trying to convince people that these practices were barbaric.
All right. So they decided to stop black culture. Now, everybody likes carnival, right? But carnival is not black culture. Carnival is the government combining of a bunch of cultures to be the new Brazilian culture. And carnival, if you know what it is, it's everything that family strength is not. It's debauchery on steroids. All right. Some of y'all been to carnival that at the sound of my voice. All right. Some of y'all have been. All right. Carnival is what it is. But remember, it's the government sponsored culture and it's a tourism based culture that everybody's accepted as Brazilian, right? Because Afro people weren't allowed to have their own culture, so they gave them something in between. Understand? And so now you get to this. And this was what the government told the mothers at the time, way back to the 1800s, down to the 1920s. And they said, my grandmother used to tell my mother, you should marry non-blacks to improve the race, to get rid of the melanin, right? Author then wrote a book to make it seem like, oh, there was no colorism in Brazil, all right? And that Brazil was a kumbaya country where when you look around, you see that we are all one, but nope, not the case. There were places that a dark-skinned person could not go. All right, you'll see this in the video. You'll see the real. You'll see the Brazilians talk about it. Some of y'all that have watched my videos from way back when I started first going to Brazil, we had these open discussions. We had them on Facebook. We had them on YouTube Live and Facebook Live. And you know that the darker men have a hard time of it. And part of their oppression is coming from, yes, dare I say, the melanated woman. The mulheres de negras. Entende? Mulheres de negras muito gosta, homens de branco, gosta homens de branco muito melhor no homens ou homens de negros. Understand? And it doesn't matter how much money. It doesn't matter how much money homens de negros fazendo. Não importante para mulheres. Como mais e dinheiro onde homens de negros fazendo. Mulheres não gostam de homens de negros por causa homens de negros muito preto. Isso são mensagens para mulheres de negros em particular. I'm speaking to somebody more specifically that I'm going to send this video to. All right? And so this is what we have. All right? And this woman goes on to say, and this continues to this day. And this is when the dark woman won the globalizer, but then there was pushback from both the negros comunidade e blanco comunidade. Right? It was pushback. E negros comunidade não gosta mulher de negros ganhar globalizer. E branco comunidade não gosta de mulher ganhar globalizer. Vocês lembram? Entendo. Muito difícil para homens de negros. Fala com mulheres de negros no Brasil. All right. So, again, a message for a particular person or persons that I'm going to send this to. All right. And she goes on and continues to this day. All right. One of the most difficult things is that I keep telling brothers that when they go to Brazil, they have options. But mind yourself when the one that's really, really fine, and these women are going to be fine for the most part, because they just come like that there. But the one that's going to cut for you the hardest are going to be the one that looks the least like you. Because the one that looks the most like you still has this mentality that we are discussing in this video going on. Period. And this is why there are so many problems in Brazil. Because the community is really not together. The community is not together because mulheres negras não conjuntam com homens negros, fazendo uma comunidade muito forte. Problema grande. Entende? So what I'm saying is the women, Negro women did not come together with the Negro man to make a family, fazendo família, to make a family, to create a community that was very strong. All right? Because it was not important to the women. Status is important to the women. Period. So, redemption of Cain. Hit your song. Redemption through Cain. The redemption of Cain. That's the name of this picture. All right. The redemption of Cain. To rid the nation of melanated people. And at the end of the day, it is the continent of South America that started hitting that wall, but there might be a breath of fresh air with a lot of the Afro men going there with the Afro attitude. And what we go there with that are changing the minds everywhere. And I can see the hope in the Afro brothers that live in Brazil, that we stand up and we are proud of our melanated selves. All right. And we look at it that, okay, it's them, the melanated woman, that are missing out. Period. All right. So it is what it is. So with that said, people, I'm out. And now you have it. The real truth on the color situation in Brazil. And if we're honest, this is what the Afro male is going through in the United States also. This spans the whole continent of the Americas. Because in order to keep us enslaved in our minds, they had to brainwash us into accepting that we are no good because of the color of our skin. And they made it policy, they made it education, they made it everything. And it's the men that are standing up and saying, no, we're better than that. With that said, I'm out.